Should we be celebrating silver's price continued climb, even though we haven't answered the question about whether this is a new silver breakout? Why not? Let's go ahead and celebrate. Pop the champagne, let's have a good day, and let's talk about it as we explore. Yeah, we might as well celebrate a little bit. And I tell you, I think anything above $30 an ounce, given where silver has been over the last decade, is reason enough to celebrate. Yeah, I know, gold has reached an all-time high and keeps flirting with that, but we are seeing silver catch up a little bit. The gold to silver ratio, as I report to you moments before the markets close, is sitting at 88.39, and it was over 90 not too long ago. So we're seeing a couple of days where the ratio has narrowed slightly. However, we should not necessarily gauge silver's performance based off of gold, as I mentioned before. Nonetheless, it's a good day to celebrate. So the markets are telling us right now that gold is up just over a half a percentage point, up $15.30 to $2,931.90. It is getting very close to a record high again. It did get up to $29.40 earlier in the day. Silver got up to $33.37 earlier in the day. It is now resting at $33.27 now. That's a 0.8% increase, 27 cents in one day for silver. Not too shabby, I would say. And so there's where the precious metals are right now, gold and silver. Now, what's happening here is, they're seeing silver climb and narrowing the gold to silver ratio as the stocks have rallied on the inflation numbers that have come in a little bit better than expected. And of course, again, this looks good for Trump in a way. But remember, we're still dealing with the chefs at the Cook the Books Club, because I don't know that the Doge team has made its way through the Bureau of Labor Statistics yet. But who knows? That could be changing sometime soon. Before I get into more details on this, there will be other dips coming. And even if there are no dips that are coming anytime soon, if you want a dollar cost average, it's always good to find the best prices so that you can narrow down your premiums to protect your dollar cost average. You can do that by shopping at summitmetals.com. You never know, they may just have the lowest price for the bullion product you're looking for in silver or gold. And so check them out, at least keep them, bookmark their webpage at summitmetals.com. Elevate your wealth with Summit Metals. Gold held steady, but silver rose again on Wednesday, and gold has risen a little bit as well, too, as it's pulled down the gold to silver ratio of the two former monetary metals. Relative prices are weaker than expected. U.S. inflation data spurred a rally in Western stock markets. The rebound in equities came just as a growing consensus that the new president, Donald Trump, will not offer a Trump put to stem the slump in New York stock market coincided with a sharp about turn in the White House trade tariff and foreign policy. And that's what a lot of the nervousness is in the market, and that is having an impact in other areas as well. It's pretty crazy to see. There's some mixed reaction on Wall Street with the NASDAQ up 212 points, but the Dow is down 82 points. But really, we should be checking is the dollar index. The dollar index is strengthening a bit. Yay, though, gold and silver are up. The dollar index is up 0.12% to 103.57 right now. And analysts, when we see what's going on with inflation, silver has spiked within 25 cents of a 6-month high, hitting the highest since mid-February, up $33 an ounce, $33.27 an ounce. Now, there was an analyst, Eric Sprott, who is an industry giant. He's a titan, and he has said that $33 is a number to watch out for, and then we're going to see a breakout, a bull run from here, kind of a secondary bull run with silver. He thinks it could spike up and to go up to as high as $250 an ounce. He believes, I don't know, necessarily believes that is going to come this time around because he didn't give a window of opportunity for that, but he thinks it's going to happen. We have another resistance point, according to a member of this community who pointed out that $33.75 range between there and $33.85 is the next big resistance point. And if we can get past that in that $33 range, then who knows? I think if we get there fairly quickly and it stays there, then we very well could be heading to a sustained bull run based off the technical analysis. So we're going to see there. Now we have the more industry useful precious metal, which is silver, had earlier fixed London's midday benchmarking auction above $33 for the first time in almost a month after topping that level, a 12-year high last fall, a total of 11 times between October and February. In fact, in October of last year, what did we see silver do? It got to $34.91. It was 9 cents shy of the magical $35 an ounce. And that was my call for last year's silver price. I was 9 cents away from being right on silver for 2024. This year, I'm predicting $36 an ounce silver. So we're just about $2 and change away from that happening here. It is quite possible. There's others of you who have predicted much higher prices, but there's also those of you who think that silver will fall to $27 or $24 an ounce this year. Honestly, it could go either way. I tend to lean more towards prices continuing up, but I think a lot of this will work itself out once we have a firm grasp on tariffs. Trump said today that once April 2nd comes around, the tariffs will be entrenched and they will be reciprocal. And so we have that to look forward to, I guess, in regards to how the markets are going to react, a sort of a stabilization of the markets. And so there is that. And I think that once that occurs, then everything is going to kind of calm down to some degree or another. And the market will adjust accordingly. We'll see. So averaging just less than 83 in the gold to silver ratio for this decade and averaging 65 since the year 2000, the gold to silver ratio hit a 2.5 year high, close to 92 at the end of February. So we're seeing a pullback of that. The longer U.S. stocks remain under pressure, the more we are going to see tariff reprieves and delays, according to strategist Nikki Shields of the Swiss bullion refining financial group MKS PAMP, summarizing the consensus view that Trump's scorecard for himself is the Dow index of U.S. equities. But that is not the case. Having doubled import tariffs on Canadian steel and aluminum to 50% on Tuesday, the U.S. administration reversed that move just hours later after senior White House trade advisor Peter Navarro encouraged our friends in Canada to keep the rhetoric down. Washington also confirmed that it had resumed military shipments and intelligence sharing with Ukraine, both halted after the fractious Oval Office meeting between Zelensky, Trump, and J.D. Vance, as the Ukrainian leader agreed to a 30-day ceasefire at talks with the USA and other Western nations and Saudi Arabia. So it's in Russia's hands now, and I think there's nervousness there as well as contributing to some of these moves in gold and silver prices today. If Russia says no, it'll tell us a lot about what their goals are and what their mindset is, says Trump's representative at the talks, so far held without any Russian involvement, according to U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio. Wednesday's U.S. inflation data saw market-priced odds that the Fed will still be holding rates at the current level until July rally to more than 1 in 4. But that was still barely a third of the certainty shown this time last month as derivatives exchange at the CME's Fed Watch tool. Longer-term U.S. borrowing costs also edged higher despite weak inflation data, rising to a 2-week high of more than 4.32% per annum on the 10-year Treasury bonds. Another thing we should watch is the Treasury bonds. You know, some of these interest rates they're pulling down, like the mortgage rates are down to the low 6s now. They were in the high 6s earlier. All these interest rates coming down in spite of the Fed keeping rates the same. So there's tools that our Secretary of Treasury, Scott Bessent, is utilizing in order to really help out, I think. That's actually some pretty good news. A lot going on in the world today, no question about that. Russia today retook its far western border region of Kursk from Ukrainian forces and claimed to have neutralized a mass drone attack on Moscow, according to Adrian Ash on this piece. So they're likely going to lose the Kursk region, which was their leveraging tool. And so this gives Russia sort of the upper hand here in some of the negotiations. My guess is Russia's not just going to accept what was put forward here, but we shall see how that plays out. Uncertainty certainly in that regard, and with these new drone strikes and repelling of them by Ukraine or by Russia, I think also could hurt negotiations. We'll see how that plays out. But there you have it. Well, folks, that just goes to show you everything I've talked about here are things that can move the markets intraday and between days. And you'll notice how they moved fairly substantially today. I mean, it wasn't a surge, it wasn't a plunge by any stretch. Those are 2% or more in my view, but it's enough to move the needle with the precious metals. And all of it with regards to, and really in opposition to, what the dollar has done today. And so that is something we can rest assured that we're going to see movement, silver move up, even though the dollar went up as well. And they defy many times what the dollar's supposed strength is. So there you have it. Let me know what your thoughts are down in the comment section below. Hope you found this video informative, insightful, and educational. Would like to extend a multitude of gratitude to each and every one of you for taking the time to watch, and to encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.